Hello, beautiful people. It's Zachary Adama, transformational guide and healer. Haven't talked to you all in a while, and I've been busy. Let's put it that way. Well, as many of you may know, around the beginning of the year, I had the beautiful opportunity to leave behind my legal career, sell my practice of 10 years, and go down to Austin, Texas to help start a retreat center where I was serving medicine. And it was really a beautiful, serendipitous sort of thing. The culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of seeking, and the beginning of a new chapter. And so that's been going on, and that's been keeping me very busy. And I haven't had time to be with you all as much as I would like. But I wanted to check in with you by doing a live on this full moon, this full moon, this crystalline full moon. And when I try to characterize the energy of this full moon, I can only think of it as being humanity's near death experience. And you may be experiencing that in your life as in a individual capacity as well. But we're certainly seeing it at the collective. And there's a lot of reasons for that. As many of you will know, we are in solar cycle 25. And if you don't know what that is, I'll put a link in the corner of this video explaining what that is. But we're in solar cycle 25. And it was anticipated to be a mild solar cycle with mild activity, electrical storms and such on the sun. Turns out it's going to be one of the most powerful solar cycles and solar maximums in living memory. And it's turning out that way. We had a really big sunspot explode just a few days ago. You probably felt it in your own energy body. You probably have experienced a big uptick in ascension symptoms and that sort of thing. You might be experiencing a lot of solar plexus purging, a lot of nausea, body aches, discomfort, etc., etc. A lot of that energy hit the planet around today in conjunction with this full moon. And a lot's lots going on collectively, lots going on in my life. And I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how much to share. But I'll talk as much as I feel like it and share as much as I feel like it, I guess. What I noticed is that at the beginning of the year, we had what felt like infinite possibilities of really, really high vibration, really, really high vibration possibilities, best possible outcome sort of stuff. I often have referred to it as the Ascension rocket ship. And then about a month or so ago, in March in particular, there really started to be a wobble of the timelines for that possibility. And things have I had to retract a little bit. They got overexpanded in some ways. The container simply was not coherent enough and strong enough to hold high vibrational energy in many cases. And I'll give you a little bit of an example. We started doing retreats at the retreat center back in January, serving medicine, the Sacrament Wachuma or San Pedro, which is a beautiful medicine that helps us open our hearts and activate our fourth density or fifth dimensional body or astral kosha, whatever you want to call it. But it awakens that astral body and empowers it, and is really an incredible tool and medicine for this time of ascension that we are in. We started serving the medicine, and we started building this beautiful community, and you could really feel fourth density coming into being in that community. And it was really incredible. People so in their hearts, the air electric with the energy of unconditional love. So, 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 so beautiful. Really, really hopeful for humanity. Problem was that the container that we were building that community in was not coherent enough or in resonance with that fourth density vibration to be able to hold it and maintain it. And so things have recently started coming apart. And that's okay too. You know, when I ventured down there, I kind of knew what I was getting into. I knew it was a long shot. I knew it was a Hail Mary from spirit, so to speak. And I was okay with that and continued to be okay with that. And certainly made the best of it. And got a lot of really good, beautiful healing while we were down there. But, as of today, I'm no longer going to be facilitating retreats down there or associated with that retreat center. And I feel a tremendous amount of relief around it. Sometimes things have to break down in order for you to break through to the next stage of your life, to the next, life room, the next venture, your next opportunity for service. And, now I find myself in this beautiful place of limitless possibility. I've disentangled myself from the law firm where I had spent the last 10 years, where I had learned and honed my craft of being an attorney. And then I began honing my craft at the beginning of this year of serving medicine and being a shamanic healer. Done energy work and healing for a long time, for years. But I started doing a lot of it around 2020 when the pandemic hit. And so most of the energy work and healing that I was doing was via Zoom. And I can do that very effectively via Zoom. Time and space are no barrier. As long as you can command energy and consciousness, you can do healing remotely. And I've done a lot of that, and I've really enjoyed it. We actually have a group meditation with our Patreon community tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join that if you want to. There's links to Patreon. I'll put one in the bio here. You can join as little as $3 a month. I'm not about the money. But we do group healing meditations that are very effective, and people get a lot of benefit from them. And it's all via Zoom, all electronic. But down there in January of this year is when I really started honing my craft of serving people as a group in person with shamanic healing, with medicines, with energy, with music, with song. And that's been an incredible experience to really step into that and embody that. And if nothing else, this venture, that's what it's been about. It's fully stepping in to my power and my role in shamanic healer. But it wasn't to be long term. It was the next step on my path, but not the destination, so to speak. And I kind of sensed that from the beginning. And it's played out pretty much as expected. And I feel a lot of relief around it, to be liberated from that situation that really wasn't in deep integrity or coherence. And the energy reminds me a lot of 10 years ago. 10 years ago, thereabouts, I was working in my hometown in East Kentucky at a little community bank owned by a former chairman of the Republican National Convention. And I'd had my awakening in 2011 and continued to work there after that, in my awakened state. And the more awakened I became, the more out of resonance the situation obviously became. The people there had distortions towards power, let's say. They had distortions towards power. They were polarizing their consciousness, in my opinion, in a negative way. And I was sort of stuck in the situation feeling obligated at the time to the person I worked for because he was older and wanting to retire, and I didn't want to leave him in a difficult situation. And so my sense of obligation and duty kept me in that job longer than I should have been. But eventually they fired me. And it was the best thing to ever happen to me. And I left smiling, carrying my stuff in my box. And they fired me because of my integrity. There were several instances while I was working for those people where things would come up where I refused to compromise my integrity. I refused to lie. I refused to pretend like something that was unethical wasn't going on, and resentment built around that. It built and it built and it built until my integrity ejected me from the situation because we simply were not in vibrational accord or resonance. Even though my heart was keeping me in the situation because I felt compassion for those involved. And that's kind of what happened this time around. I won't get into details, but essentially my integrity ejected me from the situation. Even though my heart wasn't ready to leave yet because my heart saw opportunities to be of service to healing and higher consciousness. But my integrity injected me. And sometimes that's what needs to happen, is that our integrity and our obedience to the highest vibration possible, to our heart, to higher consciousness and healing, will sometimes, repel dissonant vibrations, force us out of situations that aren't in alignment. So that's kind of a 10-year cycle on repeat, if you will. Still, it was a similar situation. People with distortions towards power, people undecided in most respects about positive or negative polarization. It was an opportunity to be of service to that community. Many were served and helped. The container simply was not stable enough to contain the vibration of what was being generated with the medicine and with the community that was going on, that was being created there. So I have had a bit of a breakdown. I've had a bit of a breakdown as we approach this April full moon. Sold my interest in the law firm in December of last year. Spent the last 4 months or so working at this new place at the retreat center, and now that's over as of today. And so I greet this full moon without knowing what the future holds, except to say that I intend to serve healing and higher consciousness any way I can, to remain in the highest integrity any way I can. And we'll see how this all shakes out. Who knows? I simply pray for the highest outcome and will continue to be obedient to Spirit and follow Spirit where it wants me to go. There's a calling at this point, I believe, to maybe move towards Asheville, North Carolina, and align more deeply with that community, which always feels like home to me. I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains, several hours north of there. And so those mountains, in many ways, are part of my bones and my blood and my skin and my soul. And so it may be that my spiritual service continues there in the near future. But for now, I will be serving you all here with live streams and videos and that sort of thing. Continue doing the healing work that I've been doing for years now, and maybe be a little more vocal about telling people I do it. I've never been good about self promotion, but I'll go ahead and put a link in the notes of this video, or you can schedule a session to work with me if you want to, healing, coaching, whatever, and we'll go from there. But I just wanted to wish you all a happy full moon. Things are rocky right now. You may be finding your lives falling apart, breaking apart. Things are ending, creation and destruction, death and rebirth. You know, in the Christian tradition, Easter is approaching Sunday. And we're right about the time in that calendar, that biblical calendar, where Jesus had been betrayed by Judas, that he had been crucified, and Peter had fallen asleep and on the vigil. So you had Jesus in the tomb, the rock over it. He had yet to rise. So we were in the death stage in that biblical allegory. The resurrection, that comes Sunday. We'll see what I'm resurrecting. Maybe I'll come back as a better version of myself, engaged in spiritual service and greater alignment and integrity. Till next time, my friends, I love you. Be peaceful, loving, and fearless. Namaste.